Okay, I think it's about time to get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Youth Bike Summit 2024 Q&A. We're thrilled to have you all here and, just kind of start thinking about next year and all the wonderful things that we're trying to put on. My name is Avery Daniels. I'm co-organizing the Youth Bike Summit here in the Lehigh Valley, and we just want to give you guys a brief overview of, what the organization is and what to expect next year, and to hear what you guys think and would like to see. So first, some housekeeping. We're going to be recording the session just for those folks that aren't able to join us today. We'll also open it up for questions at the end. In the meantime, the chat is open, so feel free to kind of drop anything in there, and we'll definitely get to it at some point. So I'd like to start off with a little promo video that we had created for us by Discover Lehigh Valley. And I want to say once again, thank you to Discover Lehigh Valley for creating that amazing promo video for us that we're able to throw on all our social media pages. Just giving you guys a little pump to get ready for the Youth Bike Summit. Just want to introduce all our steering committee members. Again, my name's Avery from Community Bike Works here in the Lehigh Valley. I've attended 2 summits in the past, 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia, and 2019 in Queens, New York. Kim, would you like to go next?
Hi, everyone. Kim Schaefer, the Executive Director at Community Bike Works. So excited that you're all going to be coming to the Lehigh Valley. I think I've been to Arlington and Queens, and we've had folks back in the day at in Manhattan, also in New York City.
Josh, would you like to go?
Yeah, hey everybody, it's really good to see a lot of folks. Excited to see everyone from the different locations. I'm with the National Youth Bike Council, the current president of the council, and I've been to about all these bike summits that they have had since 2014.
Henry, I see you in the chat. Would you like to go next?
Sure.
If not, you can always type something out.
My name is Henry Dunbar. I represent Phoenix Bikes from Arlington, Virginia. Was involved in our hosting in 2017, and I've attended Youth Bike Summits, 2 in Manhattan, 1 in Queens, and another in Seattle. And have been involved basically since 2012 in one way or another with Youth Bike Summits.
Awesome. We could just go over a quick history of the Youth Bike Summit, just see where it got its start from. So before we dive in, just a brief kind of history of the Youth Bike Summit. Started in 2011 as a youth-involved cycling organization. Josh, would you like to pick up from there?
Yeah, for sure. Are you? I still see the same slide from earlier too, as well.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if we're switched.
Oh,
there we go. Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I mentioned I've been to quite a few of the Youth Bike Summits. I've been to every single one of these locations, mostly for the first time through the Youth Bike Summit. And it's basically what started in 2011. And it was basically a way for youth involved or cycling organizations to come together nationally, form connections and partner. And so you might see a location here that you're familiar with or have not been to or been to before. And I and a few others as well from the Youth Council, our Neighborhood Bike Works, when I was on their youth council, had attended, I think, our first one in 2014. And after that, we came home and we were like a whole council. But this right here, this announcement for the Youth Bike Summit in 2022 was actually held in Atlanta. And it was really nice to see everyone coming together, especially on a large scale, but also still it felt really really small and connected. And I'm so glad that like at that Youth Bike Summit, there was the idea to come back and bring up another Youth Bike Summit. And so Community Bike Works, Avery for Community Bike Works, and Kim helped start up the 2024 Youth Bike Summit with all the excitement that they experienced at the 2022 Youth Bike Summit to bring back the Youth Bike Summit. Yeah, I'll turn it back over to you, Avery.
Awesome. Thank you, Joshua. I guess Monty or Montel, he's a big member of the council as well. I couldn't make it here today, but he's definitely here in spirits. He gave us a quick little excerpt that I would just read off. He is from, he's a youth organizer at Bikes Not Bombs. It's a youth-focused nonprofit whose mission is to use the bicycle as a vehicle for social change, specifically to achieve economic mobility for Black, Brown, and other marginalized groups in Boston and the global South. Beyond, Youth Bike Summit 2024, I'm honored to announce that the 2025 summit will be held in Boston, Massachusetts. Building on the amazing work, that we're doing here in 2024, the 2025 event will bring participants to one of the oldest cities in the nation. For the first time, Boston is many things. Some call it the America's brain, where young people from around the world come to nurture their minds and develop their expertise. Others call it the cradle of the fledgling United States, with history around every corner. Another group, namely transportation and mobility advocates like myself, consider it to be a future example for scholars of urbanism and city planning. So we're really happy to kind of announce that the next Youth Bike Summit in 2025 after Lehigh Valley is going to be in Boston. So definitely put that on your guys' radar. So just want to thank Montel again. He's not here, but he's definitely here in spirits. We're excited to be joining him 2025 in Boston with his great leadership as well. Now to give you guys an idea of what to expect when attending Youth Bike Summit Lehigh Valley, our conference center is going to be held at Muhlenberg College. It's only a mile away from Allentown Community Bike Works location, right in the West End. So it's only a mile away, 6-minute bike ride, which is great for those attending. And here's the campus itself. So this is going to be pretty much the conference center. This is where the dorms are going to be for the attendees to stay during the weekend. Our plenary session is going to be held in a theater. And the classrooms we're going to use for our various types of workshops and as a starting point for a bunch of rides as well. So our theme for this year's Youth Bike Summit is Youth Lead the Way. We're definitely, as being the Youth Bike Summit, it's very important for us that our youth have a say and a voice. So we're proud to announce that to be our running theme throughout the conference weekend. Friday, after guests are settled down, you may use the time before the beginning of our programming to go for local rides, head downtown, or explore the campus. It might be a great time to explore our mountain bike trails like the Chuxler Nature Center, Jordan Creek Single Track, Blue Mountain, our mountain bike park, just 20 minutes away, or the extensive miles of the DNL Trail. It's a pretty flat gravel trail that goes on for over 160 miles. We'll really get things started with heading to an open reception at the Lehigh Valley Velodrome. We're proud to announce that we have a velodrome just a few miles down the road from us, which is going to be a very integral part throughout the conference. For their famous Friday evening races, in the evening, we'll be shuttling or riding over to the Valley Preferred Velodrome to see the Friday night races. It'll be a great start to our summit, cheering on the riders, enjoying the snacks, and getting to know each other. After the velodrome, buses will bring back guests, and that will conclude kind of our first night of the Youth Bike Summit. Saturday, it will begin with an action-packed Saturday, starting with our plenary session to hear from our guest speakers. That will give us a chance to all be together in the same place, after which everyone will start to break away to start their various different workshops and rides. Some of our rides include giving attendees the option to try the track at the velodrome and have some coaching and exercises on the track itself. There are many local trails, from flowy or technical single track mountain biking, road riding across the valley, gravel for miles on end, BMXing and more for those to try during the conference. At the same time, you'll also be able to choose from classroom-based workshops. Workshops give organizations an opportunity to showcase what their organization is doing uniquely. Joshua, would you like to pick up on some of the workshop opportunities?
Yeah, we're hoping to put out a call for proposals soon. But in the past, Youth Bike Summit has traditionally highlighted workshops of people attending. So if you're coming, feel free to like bring your creativity. This is like a place for different disciplines, backgrounds, and especially ages to bring their own things that can be highlighted in the Youth Bike Summit's published program. So we're going to be doing the same thing for 2024, where we'll be announcing the call for proposals and later building the program around things that attendees bring that they would like to see featured or involved. Just like the theme is going to be all traditionally youth-led or emphasizing youth leadership. So the keynote speakers or any hands-on workshops that you have, presentation panels, and whatever other format you might creatively bring, by all means do bring it. I think my favorite in the past has been ones where we get to maybe like fix a flat, but that was done sometimes in different languages. So, a lot of folks have different twists in the way that they think about how they want to express youth perspective through the bicycle or whatever else they want to bring. But as long as it's helping students, teachers, families, maybe schools, communities, or our planet, then it's going to be great for the summit. To give some examples of some other things in the past that people have traditionally done, it might be like they might do a presentation on poetry centered around cycling, discussing how bike infrastructure can be improved, maybe from like a youth perspective, but young people are presenting, creating sculptures out of bike parts, having bike art, and then lastly, things like workshops where young people are generally talking about youth leadership or how to start a youth council or something like that. So yeah, hopefully whenever we announce that, we're super excited for whatever y'all have to offer and can bring to the table for some of our presentations.
And can I just add in there, this is Kim from BikeWorks, that, the workshops at previous Youth Bike Summits have really had an impact on our organization. So we saw, I see Alex is here from Chicago. We saw, I believe it was a group of from his organization present several years ago on having a girls club and a girls focused earn a bike, and that was something that we've brought back very successfully to our organization here. And I think also from Neighborhood Bike Works in Philly, we got the idea of starting, or you got some tips for starting a youth advisory council, which is going very well for us. And I want to call out too that one of the folks on our on the call today is Lauren from Nurture Nature Center, which is based here in Easton. And so Nurture Nature has come on as a partner with the Youth Bike Summit. And so I think we're going to have a really fantastic sustainability track. So if that's something that your organization is interested in, there will definitely be opportunities to talk about, the theme is youth leading the way, and what does that mean for sustainability of all types.
Yeah, we're definitely excited for all the workshop opportunities have to offer. Muhlenberg campus also does have a makerspace that we hope to use just for in-depth bike mechanic skills and anything that people want to wrench on as well. And then come Saturday evening, we will be having our welcome reception at Bicycling Magazine's headquarters. They're located just in Easton, so right down the road from us. You can easily hop on the DNL trail and take it straight to Bicycling's headquarters. We're encouraging that people ride there. It's a lot of fun. And check out all the cool bikes and what they have to offer at their headquarters, just showing the bicycling industry from a different perspective. Sunday, a major part of the Youth Bike Summit is the ride at the end. It's when everyone gets together, all our guests, and we kind of all get joined together on two wheels and go out and ride. We are planning on showing major kind of landmarks here in Allentown and the Lehigh Valley for our guests, whether that be towards the velodrome or towards downtown and Center City. It's just an opportunity for all of us to get together, and it's cool to see everyone on bikes. After which we have a visioning session, which is held giving our youth the opportunity to look ahead to the future of our movement and reflect on their weekend. This year, we're doing the Youth Bike Summit a little bit different, where we're kind of opening up Monday, those that are leaving early, but for those that intend on staying a little bit longer, we're kind of encouraging you guys to go out and check different riding opportunities as well. Just get more miles in, and we would happily recommend you some routes. That kind of concludes our agenda for the weekend. Moving on, for registration, we hope to have registration open up within the next few weeks. We're past the testing phase, and email will be going out, sending you all the information needed to get to our registration page. As you know, the Youth Bike Summit's always part of its mission is to keep registration as low as possible. So all can attend. Our pricing for Youth Bike Summit 2024, our proposed pricing would be $75 for youth and student early bird admission, $125 for adult early bird admission, $100 flat rate normal fee for youth and adults, and $150 regular rate for adults.
I'm sorry,
Registration includes a lot. Yeah.
Could you just run those numbers back for me one more time?
Yeah, of course. So the early bird pricing for students and youth is gonna be $75. The early bird pricing for adults is gonna be $125. Regular rate youth and students is gonna be $100, and regular rate adult is gonna be $150. And with registration, you get a lot included. That's 4 meals throughout the weekend. There will be snacks and kind of hors d'oeuvres served at both the velodrome Friday night and then Saturday night at bicycling reception. That's all the riding fuel for your weekend as well. So all the snacks you'd be getting before you head out on rides. We don't want anyone going starving in the middle of a ride and kind of bonk out. And that's free access to the Try the Track as well for those that opt for that. And admission to the race on the Friday night as well. Access to all the workshops and the makerspace if we have that open. You get a swag bag and a lot more. So you really do get a good bang for your buck when it comes to the pricing on our conference.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. We're looking to accommodate around 400 people for our conference. You will notice we currently have an early bird discount for those that register before April 5th. We strongly encourage those that are even thinking about going to grab it while the discount is still made available and before registration fills up. If possible, we hope to have some scholarships from additional funding available for those that might need it to support their organizations. Housing, as we said, attendees will be able to stay right on Muhlenberg campus. We're waiting for final pricing from them. At the moment, they gave us $35 a night last year. That was their pricing. We expected to go up slightly, but around that mark as well. Please know that you would have to bring your own bedding or rent bedding. We'll have more information on that soon. We will have conference hotels that you would be able to book, and that's more your speed. They would all be within bikeable difference of Muhlenberg, but Muhlenberg would definitely be the better option when it comes to getting the cheaper rate. Getting to Lehigh Valley. Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton are the cities that make up the Lehigh Valley. If you need to fly, you can look into flying into the Lehigh Valley International Airport. You could also come from Philly or Newark. They're pretty close. If you drive, parking would be made available on Muhlenberg's campus. We also have an extensive Lanta bus system in town that will help you get around, and you could find that on the transit app. We will have bike parking made available throughout the conference right on Muhlenberg's campus, so no worries about where to store your bike. And then, as Joshua mentioned before, we are encouraging workshop proposals. So here on our end, we're planning workshops out, but we encourage organizations to also later in the date, we will send out proposals to send us possible workshops that can include, like Joshua said, cycling, creating poetry centered around cycling, discussing how bike infrastructure can be improved, creating sculptures out of bike art. Workshops are generally led by the youth or inclusive of youth within the theme of the conference. If you have any workshop idea to be prepared, submit your proposal in within the next several weeks when we have our proposal sent out. It's just a way to give your organizations a way to display or showcase what you guys are doing uniquely. It's a way to network, and we want to make sure that you guys can get your word out and also see what others are doing to improve your own organizations and take it back home with you. Finally, we needed sponsors to put out an amazing event. Registration is covering approximately 1/3 of the cost of the Youth Bike Summit. Sponsors receive a wide range of benefits, including exposition space, logo recognition, and inclusion of swag in our swag bags. If you have potential sponsors, please send them our way. All our information can be found on the Youth Bike Summit website or communitybikeworks.org/Youth Bike Summit. Now we're opening up questions.
Avery, should
I
I
see
read
the
the
chat.
questions? I'll read the questions that are in
Yeah,
the
of
chat
course.
and then you can answer them. So Doug is
Yeah,
asking, are there / which major bicycle brands or manufacturers are helping sponsor this event?
yeah. So throughout conversation, we've had a lot with Trek bicycles. That's our really prevalent brand here in the Lehigh Valley. Also, we've been talking to Fiji Bike, Specialized, pretty much everyone and anyone that exists. Where we're definitely just reaching out to those brands, but the main ones at the moment that are looking to help us out are Trek and some local bike shops as well.
Yeah, and I'll just say we don't have commitments yet, but those are we
Yeah.
are in the conversation phase. And so if you have
Yes.
relationships, if your organization has relationships, you know, with any folks, whether it is the brands or the manufacturers, please be in touch with either me or Avery, and we would love to connect with you on that. Excellent. And then, so Rachel asks, can you help folks get connected to bike rentals while they're there?
Yeah, that's a great question. We really don't have a lot of bike rentals in the Lehigh Valley. Instead, what we'd be doing for the conference is, as our bike organization, we have a fleet of bikes, and we're definitely going to be looking to expand that for around the time that the conference comes. People can pretty much just rent out bikes from us at no additional cost. That will be a limited number. We don't have 400 bikes. But for those organizations that do need it, we will be providing them with a bike come the conference weekend. It will be somewhat of a first come, first serve thing, though.
Yeah, and just to add to that, none of this is set in stone. But that is one of the major areas that we are working on figuring out. And I think we'll be, as Avery said, we'll be able to work with some of our local bike shops who are supporting us as
Definitely.
well, to see what they can do. And then Emily asked what the deadline for proposals is, and we don't have that just yet. We want to make sure that you know, before we put out any dates, that we you know, have all of our information connected. But I think it's fair to say that submissions in January and February, or at least early February, will you know, will all be part of the conversation.
Yeah, I'll chime in there too and say, like, if your group, or if you have, like, haven't yet started talking to your, youth groups or young folks in the shop yet about like a presentation opportunity, I'd say like now is definitely a great time, since the Q&A session's already happening and you know that like it's going to be coming out soon. I know our group benefited from having as much time as possible to start preparing our presentation in the past to be able to present something. So yeah, if you're currently thinking of something or want to start to, like, telling your folks about it, I think now would be a great time.
Yeah, I agree. Avery, do you want to stop sharing the screens and then maybe we can just see everybody? So Tayshawn asked, will admissions be waived for groups presenting? Unfortunately, I don't think that is something that Youth Bike Summit has I don't think has done in the
historically.
past. And I don't think that is part of the funding plan this year. Joshua, chime in if there's something different to say about that. But I think, you know, as we've put the budget together, we have tried to, you know, we want to make it affordable to everyone. And I think, you know, everyone chipping in and presenting will be what makes this a success.
Okay.
Yeah, and Doug, I think you know, are there any presentations on bike touring, bike travel? I know that's something that's been very popular in the past. We certainly don't have anything set in stone yet, and I think you know, hearing about the Great Allegheny Passage, especially from the point of view of students and youth who have ridden that, you know, again, I know our students have always been really interested in hearing stories of other people who go bike camping and think about how they can do that. What other questions do people have, whether it's about the schedule for the event itself or
Um,
for logistics?
I do have one. Um, for the registration, if groups don't register, does that mean are all groups required to register? I guess is my first question.
Yes, so that's how we
Okay.
will know
Yes.
who is there. Yeah, you know, collect funding, and there will also be liability, you know, form to fill out, we believe. Yeah.
And meals and stuff are a part of the registration package. Just want to make sure I understood that correctly.
Breakfasts, yeah, breakfasts and lunches
Okay.
is the expectation. So dinners would largely be on your own. We'll have lists of restaurants. And as
Okay.
Avery said, there will be some hors d'oeuvres at some of the Friday night receptions, but we know many people won't want to count on that. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'll go back to calling on people, and then Avery, you can go. You can answer. I jumped
Yeah.
on there on some answers. Emily, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, thank you for all this information. My goodness, this is so organized. I'm loving it. And it's going to let us plan and bring hopefully a nice sized group of students up. In the YBSs that I've attended in the past, there have been presentations by adults, and you kind of, you know, hinted at some of that. But one idea that we've had is we are trying to kind of reimagine our peer-to-peer fundraising ride in the summer. And so one idea that Henry and I had actually bounced back and forth is that it might be really helpful for some of us to like maybe do like a panel presentation on what's worked and what hasn't with other organizations. We've had youth ride in our rides, so we can certainly involve youth, but I know that it's more how do we fundraise to make this great work keep happening? Is that an appropriate topic? I can certainly like put that through as a proposal and have it more officially mapped out. And then B, if there's anybody who runs a peer-to-peer fundraising ride, like Kim, I would love to talk to you about yours, and would be possibly interested in like joining in a panel so that we can all learn from one another. I would love to talk to you. But anyway, is that an appropriate topic, or does it need to be driven by a youth?
Avery, do you want to take that, or would you like me to?
Yeah. Well, I would say that, yeah, it's definitely an appropriate topic. You know, of course, you executive directors are the ones that make everything happen. I think that way for you guys to network as well, and kind of, you know, kind of cross paths and see what each other are doing well and learn is a pro that I would say, you know, this is an opportunity that you guys are meeting together and can do it. So why not? Kim, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think I would love to connect with people on that. And one thing that we are brainstorming and would love to hear if people are interested in this is if people can stay till Monday, I would like to host you know, some of the executive directors or program directors, you know, folks from other organizations where we can you know, I think there would be value in having a group presentation on that for anyone who'd be interested. But I would also like to have probably be on, you know, probably on that Monday, if that's possible. You know, just a roundtable discussion where executive directors or other leaders could come together to discuss some, you know, some issues that you know, and concerns that we share in common. So we can talk about that. You know, if Monday doesn't work, we could look at another time for connecting in that. But yes, definitely propose a presentation on something like that.
Josh, would
Yeah, I
you
was
like to add
hoping.
to that?
Yeah, I was gonna say I was hoping, Kim, that you brought that up because if we decide to go forward with that, like communications about that as well will be like put out as well. So this way folks kind of understand that it's happening if they want to be able to opt into that opportunity for Monday.
Molly, I see that you had your hand raised for a while.
Yes, hello. No worries. This you kind of answered my question, I think, with that, but so I do some programming, and we don't currently have youth programming happening to like very much. Like if I was attending, I would not be bringing a group of youth. And I'm just curious, and maybe this is more of like a ideological question just about like what do you see the role of like me as a person who unfortunately falls outside of this youth category can play like by attending a conference like this, or do you feel like it's more, do you want it to be for youth? Do you want like folks who, you know, are not youth to be showing up as well? I don't know, like what's kind of the mission?
I think I can answer that question. So,
Okay.
some of the folks from our organization actually went to Youth Bike Summit first before they brought any young people, but that enabled them to come back the next year and be like, all right, we understand what this is kind of about. we understand how many more young people we want to bring next year. And so I think they brought 4 people the next year. And then we kind of went with like a group of another organization. So I'd say by all means, yeah, even if your organization doesn't service young people right now or want to like give resources to other organizations that you know of that want to service young people, then by all means, like definitely come and learn something on the ground.
Definitely. And
Awesome.
I would also say you're a youth advocate at that point. And then that's a big piece as well, is you're advocating for the youth.
Cool. That's a good way
Hey,
to
Sean,
frame
did
it.
you?
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
yeah, of
have
course.
one other sort of logistics
Of
question.
course.
When
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like early registration and regular registration, do you have like a timeline of when you think those will be?
Yeah, so early registration, we hope to have, well, registration by itself, we hope to have up within the next few weeks. Early registration, that early bird discount is going to end. I think right now we have the date as April 5th. And then regular rate registration from pretty much April 6th on. So you could even be like the day before the Youth Bike Summit if you sign up. Just might be a little bit more difficult when it comes to housing, I would say.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem. Tayshawn, did you also have a question?
That was actually gonna be my question. So she asked it. And then actually, Avery, while I have you, you said
Yeah.
your group would have some bikes available. But that would be first come, first served.
Yes.
Just want to make
Yeah.
okay. And what was the name of your organization? I didn't write that down. I want to just make sure I get
Community
everything.
Bike Works.
Community Bike Works. Just because I'm gonna have to. So in truth, I'm a part of a 2-man team, and my colleague couldn't make it, which is why I'm here representing. So I just want to make sure everything that I take down gets back to them, so we can plan accordingly.
Got it. And if you had
Fantastic.
any questions that you might have not thought of today, you can definitely email myself, Kim, or Joshua, and we would be happy to address any of those questions for you as well.
Okay.
I guess
Thank you.
the question for everyone here in attendance is, how many people do you expect to bring? Even if you know, like, rough head count. Yeah, definitely.
And if you wanted to, if you want to say something about that or ask a question, that would be great. If you want to just, pop it in the chat.
Yeah, you can
that
use chat
just
or voice.
helping us, we get a head count.
I also
Yeah.
have this is not a logistics thing. This is my organization thing. Just if anyone's interested. We're looking to do a survey of different youth bike organizations, youth bike organizations. There we go. And so I can drop my email in the chat, and if anyone's interested in being a part of that survey process, that would be greatly appreciated. Just as something that we're working on.
Oh,
One
okay.
thought on that, Tayshawn, are you part of the think tank distribution list?
I don't think so.
I can send you information, but if you're trying to do a survey of youth, it would be good to put it out there, because that would be you'd be casting a wide net of some community bike shops and youth focused bike programs.
Okay, I'm gonna drop my email in the chat.
Sword here. You mentioned think tank? Did anybody advertise there yet?
We have it on our list to advertise, and I know there was a conversation about bike on Think Tank this morning, so I didn't want to jump too much on top of that, but it is yes, we will.
Then another thing, are you familiar with CABDA, the bike expos that they hold free around the country, West Coast, the Midwest, and the
Yes.
East Coast?
No, but I just saw you note about that.
It's for retail dealers. We attend, even though we're technically not, a standard retailer. We're basically free.
So have
But we
we.
go and we steal ideas. But there's 300 or more exhibitors. So you might be able to find some of those exhibitors want to finance what you're doing.
That's amazing.
So
Thank you.
make friends with Jim at CABDA. He's the lead guy, and see if he'll share his information.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Second item then for Avery. I'm 100 miles away, 90 miles, Harrisburg, PA. If I show up, and I've done this at Bike, I bring extra bikes with me. So I can always have my organization prep a few bikes. So other places like Lancaster and so forth which we surround you, could maybe bring extra bikes depending, because we have trailers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if something like that happens, that would be great. Kind of gets a little bit off of our load of, you know, fleet bikes that we have to build up. Just because we're assuming that, you know, of course, people flying in would probably be
Right.
needing bikes, but those in driving distance might or might not.
Yeah, that's
Then
fantastic. Yeah. Oh,
I
and I will
haven't
just
gotten
say,
permission for this, but since we're 90 miles away, if somebody bikes in from the west and they need an area around Harrisburg to camp, they could sleep inside our building. We have one shower in the upstairs. And we just would not tell the city that for one day we're a hostel.
That sounds good. I guess another question is, what days do you think people would be arriving or leaving? Again, we are this year kind of experimenting with the idea of having a Monday option as well. That's something that usually didn't happen in the summit. They usually ended around midday on Sundays. Would anyone be thinking about leaving, you know, later Sunday evening? So maybe getting a few miles in before catching a flight or a ride home, or even staying until that Monday as well. And I guess with that,
So
also arriving early on Friday.
um, I will say that we're probably going to be leaving on the Sunday, no matter how we travel there, because our students will have school. Even if we bike back to New York, it'll be a 2-day commute either way. And so we do want to do our best to minimize how much school they have to miss, particularly if we are gonna bike there.
Got it. Do you know around when your students end school? Like their
Um,
school year in general?
their school year ends like June 20th. Like the last week
Oh,
of
okay.
June is typically when we end. And
Okay.
so I was talking about that with my colleague, and we were laughing a bit about the timing of this because we were like, if it was just like a couple of weeks later, we'd be we wouldn't have to worry about it. But because they're school and it'll be mostly finals for some of our seniors, we want to minimize how much they have to miss just so we
Yeah.
can entice them to join us.
Yeah. Sorry about the date doesn't work out for you. I know that was something that we were playing around with a lot, was just the date for, you know, different, just I guess, parts of the country end school a bit earlier or later. Like down south, they're kind of way done with school. They end around late May. And our
Yeah.
students, they get out, I believe, the week before. So it was just something that we were playing around with. I guess unfortunately it doesn't work for your area.
No,
But
it's
of
fine.
course,
and
keeping it as a weekend is, you know, the pro of it. It's not during the week they can't miss too much school.
And I'll just say, so Andy just put in the chat that people coming from the west might get there late on Thursday. And so we, you know, once we know when people are coming, you know, we can also plan more informal rides on that Friday morning and, you know, just make sure that you have what you need to get started riding or whatever you'd like to do.
Okay. Actually, that was going to be my next question. What's the earliest people can arrive?
I guess for those that are coming in on a Thursday, we can make accommodations for that. Fridays, you know, pretty much when we do start the conference though, those coming in late Thursday or early Friday, you can ride as much as you want. It's just, you know, a matter of when you register or when you're actually there and register for the conference. We'll get you set up on a bike and everything else you need. And then we could send you on your merry way with your bike and a few routes to go check out. And especially
yeah,
if you are coming in a bit earlier, you might even get a little tour around town as well.
and we will talk to the college about folks who would be interested or need to stay on Thursday night also. Avery, do you have another question?
Yeah. How many people are looking to bring their own bike? So I know, Ross, you already answered that question. You're actually bringing us more than you need, which is awesome. Were people, especially those that are flying in, would you still be interested in bringing your own bike, or would you like need one rented out?
Here at the Oponte organization, is it easy if I put things in the chat or is talking fine?
Either or. You know, I'm definitely here to, you know, open up discussion if people do want to unmute, and if not, the chat option is always a use as well.
So we will be bringing bikes. We're gonna reach out to Amtrak just to make sure that the line they have from New York to Allentown, to make sure the train that they have for that does have bike spacing. But we are planning on bringing our bikes no matter how we arrive.
Got it. And Andy, I do see that you said that you would probably need 3 bikes, just because of flying in with them. I know it is a little expensive. I would look into like what's the best way to travel with your bike. I know, of course, like bringing it in as like an oversized luggage is one option. I know bike flights is also one as well. I don't know how much that would be from coming from Reno with that, but I know bike flights is a website that a lot of people use to transport their bike.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. We're just kind of checking it out. I'll have to see, but I'd love to have our own bikes, but if it becomes a pain, we might have to get a couple from you guys.
Got it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I know also a lot of people they will disassemble their bike and put it in a box and get it shipped out and then have it rebuilt. That sounds like a little bit more of a lengthy process, but I know that's usually a common solution as well.
Hey, real quick to chime in on this, because this
Yeah.
actually is our expertise. Hi, everybody. Doug Rigner here with a broken laptop, so no camera, save you from looking at me. Shipbikes.com is actually, they ship more than Bike Flights does, but we see over 100,000 overnight bike packers on our trail, and it's amazing the thousands of people that ship bikes UPS. Best, cheapest way to ship a bike is to go to your local bike shop, pay them a couple bucks, and let them ship it. They'll get tracking, insurance, and everything, and they'll arrange to ship it to whatever bike shop you tell them. And then it's a couple bucks. It keeps it in the bike industry in the local bike shops. So just, you know, we got bike shops on both ends of the Gap Trail that they do $1,000 or 1,000 bikes a year, easy, just rebuilding them for people that are traveling from around the world. So
Wow. Yeah, thank you, Doug. That's great. Yeah, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, but the other one's called
would you mind
Shipbikes.
dropping Ship Bikes? Okay, I'm gonna drop that in the chat. It's just shipbikes.com.
Shipbikes.com. Yep. And there's a good chance
awesome.
if you call them on the phone, the owner is one of the people that answers the phone. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Real quick, one other thing I wanted to add,
Thank you,
because I'm putting some notes down here, things to do, because bike seems to be something you folks need. I just had a dinner and a beer with a guy. They run a bike touring company here in Pittsburgh. We're blessed. They got 500 bikes. So it'd be a long shot. But if I could convince Wilderness Voyagers or Golden Triangle Bikes, hey, is there any chance you would take a van with like 16 bikes and come out to the youth bike conference? I don't think it's ever going to be closer to us than it is right coming up. So this might be that window, but at least inviting them is what I'll do and see what they say.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, Doug. That's awesome.
Yeah,
another
Ask
question that we had
Wilderness
as well.
Voyagers to be a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a lot in a lot of places. I can ask them. So, yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
the organization
yeah,
based
send
in
them our
Ohio,
way.
Kyle?
Yes, that's them.
I have a board member who works for them. I could ask.
Who's your board member?
Send them our way.
Jason Andelman?
Ooh, the name's vaguely familiar, but I know Jesse who runs the tours and Cassia and Eric, the owners. So, yeah.
Yeah, Kim, do you have a sponsorship packet, or Avery?
We do. Yeah, I'm
do.
sorry we didn't say that. It is on our website. And
I will
I'll
link
drop
it.
that link in here. Okay, you'll do.
All right.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. While Avery's doing that, let me just ask, do people expect that your organizations, anyone coming with you, might need accommodations, whatever that might mean, whether it's American Sign Language, whether it's Spanish translation, physical accommodations, anything that we should be thinking about? And again, Muhlenberg Conference will be able to help us with a lot of these things. But we do want to make sure that everyone is accommodated. So if you can think of anything in particular. You don't need to drop it in the chat. You're welcome to. But we will be asking more formally, but if you're able to let me or Avery or Joshua know, that would be great, so we can start planning for that. Yeah. Avery, do you want to move on to the last question? And
yeah, I guess, like, what are people most looking forward to? Rather, if it's something that they've seen in summits past, or something brand new that they'd like to see. Again, feel free to drop it in the chat or unmute.
I got to be honest, I've never been to one of these, but I got the email and I'm super excited to see all these cool organizations. I'm bringing resumes, so if any of you guys are hiring,
Awesome.
I'll have my resume on hand. I had a
That
quick
sounds
question,
great.
actually. I'm planning
Yeah.
on bringing my bike, but it's a, like 83 stump jumper. I would really like to get on that track. Do you know if they rent out track bikes?
Yeah, so part of the velodrome, from what we talked about, they do have their own room of track bikes. It's only a few of them. I believe it's only around 30 that they would have for people to use. But we also talked to them, and they would be open to having people bring whatever bikes that they have, and also riding that on the track as well. So, if your bike has gears and a brake, which normal track bikes don't, you could be riding that as well. But I know some people, they probably would want the full experience and try a track bike out. So there would be that option, again, on a kind of first come, first serve basis as well.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, and
and
my
if your
understanding is
93 stub jumper needs any work, we could definitely kind of wrench away on it when you bring it in there.
Perfect. I'd like to hear it.
We got you. Don't worry.
my understanding is that anyone who would sign up for the Try the Track workshops, which will, be somewhat limited in number, so that you can get the full experience, that you would have access to a track bike. So if you wanted that, you would be able to do that.
Yeah,
So
the
some
workshop for
cool
the Try the
things in
Track is definitely going to be we can't have 100 people on the track at the same time. So it's going to be slightly smaller numbers, and then we're going to try to do multiple sessions of that as well to get kind of people turned around, and everyone or most people a chance to try the track if they are curious. Again, a velodrome is something that hasn't been normally seen at summits in the past, so we're kind of unique in that, and we definitely want to take full advantage of it.
One thing I'm gonna selfishly add there is that definitely hoping to see a band in some form or fashion, like there has always traditionally been one at previous youth bike summits. It kind of marches us from I think from like the kickoff session on Saturday to wherever the presentations are happening. So small little thing, but definitely love that. So hopefully you can get that again.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see that on the Sunday right before our big ride with everyone. I am seeing in the chat about kind of dietary restrictions. That is definitely something that we would be keeping in mind when it comes to all the meal options throughout the weekend at the summit. Most of the meals would be coming from Muhlenberg's cafeteria and their food provider, and I know that they're really good about different dietary restrictions as well. So no worries on that. Did anyone have any additional questions at all? Now's the time to kind of ask away.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
Yes, I am unmuted. Okay. I'm considering the early bird registration, but my list of students is kind of tentative to change. So in the event that I register a student and then for some reason they can't make it, would it be possible to have a refund issued or?
Yeah, I believe so. It's definitely, again, we're playing around with registration right now. We're kind of in the testing phase, but I see no reason why we wouldn't be able to issue a refund to you, in the case that you had to drop a student.
Yeah, and there'll probably be some deadlines around that, because at a certain point we will need to pay for
True.
meals and those things. But that's a good question that we had not put into our registration, and we will have an answer for you on that. So if there's a date past which it's not possible to get refunds, we will make that very clear.
All right, thank you.
Not really a question, but just Kim, I really, really love your idea of figuring out a way to get some executive directors or kind of staff some of that networking time. Our students have really loved this in the past, but from my standpoint, the most valuable for me has been like connecting with other staff at other youth-focused nonprofits. So I'd love to talk more about that and figure out if there's a way that we could take advantage of the time that we would already be there with our students, because I'd probably be traveling up and back with them and not staying on the Monday, and take advantage of some of the time that maybe they're in some sessions that maybe we could have more of those conversations. And to that end, we actually are in the middle of trying, I don't want to hijack the conversation, but we're trying to figure out how to inventory and track our bikes better from the moment they get donated to like the time that they leave as an earn a bike or a give a bike or a sale bike. And so if anybody on this call is interested in talking to me about that and sharing ideas, not at the bike summit, we need to figure it out like in the next month or so. I would really love to talk about that. So I'll drop my email in the chat, but if anybody is interested in that and you want to drop your email in, I'm all ears to tracking all the bikes.
Yeah, I guess I can I'll reach out to you.
Okay, yeah, let's talk offline about it, but yeah, I would love to talk.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. Yeah, and I agree. You would definitely be able to transfer registrations if there's another someone else, especially from your organization, coming. That is in response to what Dave popped in the chat there. Excellent. Any other questions that people have, or anything that you want to share about what you would like to see or that you're looking forward to? So before I turn it over to Avery to wrap up, I will just say thank you everyone for coming. We're so excited that you're all going to be here in the Lehigh Valley. I really do think it's going to be a great conference, a great summit. We were talking to Joshua this morning, and he said this is probably the most youth organized that a youth bike summit has ever been, which I think is especially exciting. And so, I think we have a lot to look forward to, and it's going to be great to get everyone back together in a really meaningful way. So we will have, over the next several weeks, I think we are getting to a place where we will have registration go out, where we will have a call for proposals go out. We will be finalizing a lot of details related to signing contracts with, we hope, Muhlenberg College and all of those other things. So, I think we'll have things a lot more firmed up over the next several weeks. We did want to, again, get you together today to see what we should be thinking about and make sure that, especially before we go into the new year, that you have what you need to start thinking about budgets and logistics and all of that. So I do hope this is helpful. And really appreciate all the input that you've given us to take back and integrate into our planning. Joshua, Avery, how would you like to close us out?
I did want to add one thing on there too. So really thank everyone for coming and like adding all the conversation back and forth. I'm just gonna say if there's other groups that you know of that would benefit from coming to Youth Bike Summit or you want to hear from, and this would be an interesting platform for you to get to meet their folks, definitely share this with them, because that's how I've met a lot of the other organizations, and the more organizations that come, like kind of the more information that we kind of share and get from each other and learn how we all do things a little bit differently. So definitely spread the word about the Youth Bike Summit coming. Over to you, Avery.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming here. We're more excited than ever to kind of host a Youth Bike Summit. It's been a long time coming. I've attended the one in Atlanta in 2022, and we're definitely looking forward to kind of getting it to and be a position to how it was before the pandemic. I myself, as a student, being there at the Youth Bike Summits, it was some of my most memorable experiences, a part of our organization. And it's only just something that we want to kind of extend to other youth as well, make it a memorable thing for next year and the following years to come. See you guys at the Youth Bike Summit in 2024. You'll be getting emails and, just stay up with us on social media. Any questions at all, definitely reach out. We'll have our emails provided and anything that goes out. Thank you guys all for coming today.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. This
Thank
is
you.
so exciting. We can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Yay. And
I
we
know,
will
I'm pumped.
post,
I'm pumped.
we will post this video and
Yeah, for any of
so-
those that weren't
yeah.
able to make it today, we'll have the recording of the whole Zoom call, the presentation, and any additional information will also be going up as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.